Ladies and gentlemen, we've made it. It is week 10 of the Ohio High School football season. Welcome to the 3-3-0 to go high school football show. I am Mike Voorhees.
With Matt McGaw. We should start announcing each other's names.
We should.
Like you introduced me and then I introduced you.
We could. I like that.
We should do that. We should start that week 1 next year.
Best co-host on the planet right here.
Wow. Lack of options.
I thought you were going to say lack of oxygen, and I'm like,
could have been. Do I sound
no.
like I'm out of breath?
No, I figured you were coming at me.
Did run a flight of stairs.
We've made it, folks. It is rivalry week. Lots of big games on the schedule for tonight, but we're going to get you prepped. We got our feature athlete. We've got our game of the week, which, folks,
flying through it.
It's a diaper dandy, if I can borrow a phrase from Dickie V.
Diaper dandy.
It is going to be an incredible game of the week. We've got our pick'em recaps. There's a new leader in the clubhouse.
It's a tie.
That's true, but
yeah, it's a tie.
The fact that I'm now tied with you anyway.
All right.
We'll get there.
Welcome to greatness. Welcome to greatness.
I've been in first most of the season. I just took a little drop off, and now I'm back.
That's all right. We got to make it interesting.
It's
funny how it all works out, though.
Absolutely.
It's almost like it's planned.
Matt, how about let's jump into some scores from last week?
Roll through them.
Jackson over McKinley, 20-7. This is a bit of a shocker, folks.
Do you think it's the number one of the week?
No, there's one coming.
Okay.
There's one coming. Hoover beats Lake on a last-second field goal. Hoover 18, Lake 17.
That's not it?
No, that's not it.
Oh.
Perry, 21 over Green, 16. Here it is.
That's it.
This game was Green's, I think. Green made a lot of mental mistakes in this game, and they were unable to overcome adversity. Perry just able to get points when they needed it, and that wing T option offense just proved to be a little difficult.
Just the whole, especially being our game of the week.
Yeah.
Which awesome job fans picking that, because it was.
It was a very good game. Very good game.
With that being said, though, we talked about it 2 weeks ago when Green had 2 games left, and we said they were Perry, Lake, and we were discussing, are they going to get out of that 2-0, 1-1? I thought the 1-1's more realistic. Now they've set themselves up with the whole idea. Now you're going to travel into Lake tonight.
It's the battle of 619, folks.
And I think Green, though, it's a good.
This is going to be a good test.
It's a good test.
Yep.
It's a good preparation for the playoffs. A lot of teams are looking at that. So I don't think it's the end of the world by any means, because I think Perry is a good team.
Oh, Perry's really good.
Even though in the beginning of the season we talked about how they beat St. V.
Didn't Perry get off to a good start? They were in the Federal League doing well, and yeah.
So they've beaten a couple of teams up there in the Federal. So
staying in that Federal League. How about Glenoak? Shout out to the Glenoak Golden Eagles getting win number 1, much needed win number 1 of the season. They defeat Mansfield. Massillon over Harding. This was the game I was at for Q92 Sports. Massillon's really good, folks. That's all I'm going to say. Massillon is really good.
Record doesn't matter.
Record does not matter.
They're not.
Coach Moore has that team firing on all cylinders. They looked dominant.
I'm glad that they beat somebody that we know.
Ooh, are you taking a shot at their schedule?
No, yes, I am.
No,
schedule. Yes, I am.
No, don't.
Absolutely. I give Massillon all the credit in the world. They're the Division II defending state champs. Have a very good chance to repeat that this year. But absolutely, I want to tease them.
They wanted a challenge, and they went outside the state of Ohio to find it, and we'll go from there.
They didn't beat the Lumbers Union this week.
Oh my gosh! Wow. Lake Catholic over Canton Central Catholic, 31-12. South Range over Louisville, 49-28. Canton South over Tuslaw, 28-24. The Manchester Panthers, 9-0, folks. They defeat Fairless. They have a big opportunity tonight to go 10-0, but they've got a fierce opponent in their way. We'll talk about that. Northwest over Triway, 38-21. CVCA rolls over Orville.
Yeah.
I thought Orville was going to put up some more points. They love to put up odd points. We're told nice haircuts, gents. I wonder who that is. We're bald and beautiful, baby. Embrace it.
Nice
love it.
Lame.
Alliance shuts out Minerva. Salem shuts out Marlington.
Baldness while we're trying to read scores. How dare you?
That's what they do.
How dare you?
EBC championship game. The West Branch Warriors, folks, they're undefeated as well. They knock off Carrollton 33-6. That game was a lot closer than that score dictates. just FYI. Carrollton fought the entire game. When we were getting score updates during the Q92 games, that game, I was stunned. It was like 13-6 at halftime. And then West Branch decided it better play a football game, and it decided to find the gas pedal. Okay. But shout out to Carrollton. They've had a phenomenal season. I'm interested to see how they do in the playoffs. Mogadore over St. Thomas Aquinas. Garaway, shout out to Sugar Creek. They're big winners over Sandy Valley. Buckeye Trail over East Canton. Indian Valley. They are a powerhouse. We need to keep an eye on them. Okay. They're just outside of our viewing area, but Indian Valley, a really good team. Walsh over Brunswick.
Yes, sir.
Aurora over Barberton. Highland over Cuyahoga Falls.
Highland freight train.
Aurora too. We'll talk about them here in a second.
Let's not get to it. Let me not. Yeah.
Hoban defeats Central York of Pennsylvania. Hey, Matt, how's this one sound? Copley over Revere, 47-35.
You picked that.
I picked Copley. You picked Revere.
That was a good game.
It was a very good game. We'll talk about that. This one, closer than I think a lot of people realize. Wadsworth 28, Salem 27.
Coming off that.
Oof.
That Nordonia.
They had to come back to win this ball game. Shout out to the Grizzlies.
Still sitting there.
Still undefeated. Streetsboro over Field. We called that one.
Yes.
Tallmadge over Kent. 21-14. Nordonia over Stowe.
Okay,
North Royalton knocks off Hudson.
That one's
43-35, a little bit.
I'll take a Hudson there.
Brecksville 28, Twinsburg 20. Okay. Norton defeats Springfield. Garfield over Ellett. Ravenna over Coventry. Cloverleaf over Woodridge. Villa Angela St. Joseph rolls over St. V. East over Bookdole. Akron City Series, folks. What is going on?
East is
the Dragons, baby. I love it. And then in a game, last night, the Canton Central Catholic defeat St. Thomas Aquinas in a rivalry game. And we won't say the score, but now Canton Central Catholic 5-5. They need a little bit of help in the playoffs, so they're gonna to get to win to head into the playoffs. That's what you want. Yep. A little momentum. All right, Matt, take it away. It is time for the Week 9 Pick'em recaps.
Well, we are sitting all tied at the top. Mike
I will give you a fist bump, brother.
31-14 on the season.
Fans, come on.
Fans have slipped. Slipped in the last few weeks.
Fans, can I give you some advice? Don't pick with your heart. Yeah. Don't pick with your heart.
Start watching.
Easy to do.
That or just start watching the show. I mean,
that's fair.
I mean, if you just kind of went along with what we were saying, you'd be sitting not so far back. But they're 29-16.
They're 2 games out, so they need a perfect weekend. And you and I need to absolutely tank.
Not happening.
It's not happening.
I don't think so, Tim.
Come on, this is going to be fun.
A championship to defend.
Oh, I like it. Right? So just so folks know, when we get to the playoffs, which start next week,
Mike's made a new rule.
No, we did this last year too. In your brain, I think you forget.
We'll do it live.
We switch it back up. Everybody starts over at 0. We have a little bit of fun in the playoffs because it's now
that's going to be a lot of different. Once we get to that, we'll keep it at a point where it's around this area, but eventually it's going to start being some of these teams that are down south, in central Ohio,
Sugar Creek and Dalton and all these teams that we
start paying attention.
Start watching the show.
Are we talking about potential high school playoffs right now? Can we go there?
Do you want to hop into that real quick?
Has anybody? So there's this really. We want to at least
JoeETL.com, folks. If you are interested to see where your team is. This guy does a phenomenal job of saying like who's where, what their status is. It's all unofficial.
Yes.
Playoff pairings and everything will be announced on Sunday. So we'll be figuring out what we're doing for our games of the week, depending on what we've got.
Yes.
How about we're going to jump into Matt's favorite division?
Why is it
region?
It's got to be my favorite.
This is the gauntlet, man.
Division
2, Region 5.
Let's stop thinking it's just all
I did
me,
say Dalton correctly.
I know I'm an only child here, and a lot of things in life I always want my way, but The fans did say this was the
They
best
did.
region.
I
before
voted
the
on it too.
season
This
started.
is
I'm
why
blaming it on the fans.
we call it the gauntlet. Walsh sits at 1,
locked in.
Hoban 2,
Let's just make that clear. Locked in.
Green 3. But Hoban is if Hoban wins, they stay at 2.
Well, like Hoban, Green. What do we have?
They
on here?
have to win. If
guaranteed
to
top
clinch
8.
their they got to clinch their
top
spot.
8.
Although they
But
could drop.
They
They
could drop in it, but they're going to be inside the top 8.
Yep.
But
Austintown Fitch has clinched a spot. Same with Nordonia, Hudson, Hoover, Boardman, Warren Harding, Uniontown Lake,
Riverside,
folks. They're a good
here's
team. They're 4 and 5. Don't let that
South
record
out of
fool you.
Willoughby controls their own destiny.
Yep.
And that's the slide.
They got to
can stay
win.
at the 12 spot if they win.
Akron Firestone
Has a chance. Nothing's locked in. They have to.
Nope.
I mean,
Mayfield is they've got a chance as well.
Absolutely.
Cleveland, John Adams, a win and they're in at 6-1. A win and they're in. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
6-1, and you have to.
6-1.
Wow, come on.
6-1.
Listen, if somebody can explain to me this scoring system and how it works, because it doesn't make sense to me. If a team wins 6 games and they could be on the outside looking
It's
in,
who you beat, right?
it must be. But I need someone to break down points. Like, what's the criteria?
Well, points.
Well, right. Is it like the margin? Like, what is it? Strength of schedule? Like, are we literally getting into
You could
like
still like
the,
if you
CBS
if you
and all
beat
this other
if
nonsense?
one team beats another team that has knocked off like a St. Ed's,
Yeah.
okay, you're going to steal a lot of points. So,
Folks, we can sit here and talk all morning.
yeah, I think it's a
This
lot
is
about
playoff
who you play, what division they are,
So
and all that comes into.
if Cleveland John Adams with a win, they'll either be seeded either 10 through 15, depending on
yes,
the other. With a loss, they'll either be 12th or out.
yes,
12th, 13th, 14th,
and then you have
15th,
sitting back
16th.
there, Louisville
with a win, they're
Garfield.
13. They could technically be out depending on what happens beneath them.
all these teams sitting right in this window,
Yeah, it's
outside of
gotta win.
South and John Adams, they control their own destiny.
Right.
If they
Gotta
win,
win.
they're in. The rest of these guys that we're naming, they could win and still not get in. And those are Euclid, North, Twinsburg, Shaker Heights, Solon, John Hay, Akron, Garfield, as we mentioned, Louisville.
Yeah.
Your bottoms that have
They've already been mathematically eliminated: Heights, Stowe, Cuyahoga Falls, St. Vincent, St. Mary, Akron North.
Exactly. And
So, folks, again,
crazy.
we're going to share this link because I believe that this site is amazing.
Mhm.
We will share it on our page. Joe ETL does a phenomenal job. So
it's an easy way to be able to go and tell
Right.
you.
You want to
everything
know
that's
where your
going on.
team is?
Let's
You
slide
wanna-
into one more. Let's check out. You like talking about. Let's go over to Region 7.
Region 7, eh? Which
There.
which one?
That one.
Region 7.
Yeah,
Division
Region
2. So we got Walnut Ridge sitting at
Mhm.
number 1.
Mhm.
Big Walnut sitting at 2. The Massillon Tigers. For those that were freaking out when Massillon was sitting 8th or 9th when
They're
these
sitting at
were
3.
when these were first released.
Yeah.
Guys, calm down.
They'll probably jump up to.
They might. They've clinched a home playoff game. They'll be in the top 8.
Well, if you see right there, Walnut Ridge is at the top, and they've only clinched top 4.
Right.
So
There's
everybody
a
who's sitting there,
lot to
they can
happen.
come into play a little bit.
Then you
if they
got
lose.
Ashland. Shout out to Ashland. They're on this list. They're
Canal
sitting
Winchester, I remember
5th.
them as
Canal
well.
Winchester. Massillon Perry sitting at 9th. Good job for them. A win tonight against Glenoak would help them immensely.
Yep.
Let's see. Anybody else in that region?
Nothing really on that. I
not-
think the other one would be Division or Region 8.
Region 8. Let's
Is that
see.
who?
No,
was it
Division
8
2,
or
Region
was
8.
it
No.
Maybe it was 6. I'm sorry, 6. I apologize.
Region 6.
It should be
Avon,
Highland.
number
Yep,
1.
there it is.
Highland, number 2. Wadsworth, number 4. Let's see
Some
anybody
really
else
good
in
ones.
that list. Broadview Heights sitting at 19th. They're not mathematically eliminated, but they can get in. And I think that's
Barberton was sitting down there at the bottom.
Barberton. Yeah, unfortunately,
They've been
mathematically
they've been
eliminated.
yeah.
It's okay. So, yeah, I mean, this is so much fun. Again, we could sit here and do a playoff show and
So we're going to get into that as it goes on. So staying off topic even more.
yeah.
That we didn't talk about this Metro thing.
What are we talking
Yeah,
Break
folks,
this
so
down. Did anybody see this?
I shared a post. Norton City Schools shared it. There's going to be some changes. Tallmadge, Streetsboro.
Yeah.
They're going to be joining, what's the name of the conference? The Metro. I can pull it up really
Metro
fast.
8,
yeah,
10.
I didn't put it in the show notes, but that's okay.
No.
So I can't believe how much.
Here's what a lot of people were saying on there, and I kind of get it.
All right, here we go. Metro Athletic Conference.
There it is. Okay.
They're going to accept Cuyahoga Falls, Kent Roosevelt, and Tallmadge, who are currently members of the Suburban League. So it'll be a new 10-team league made up of Cloverleaf, Field, Norton, Ravenna, Springfield, Streetsboro, Woodridge, Cuyahoga Falls, Kent Roosevelt, Tallmadge.
What is happening to the Suburban League?
Suburban League.
So there's like two conversations.
So I believe the Suburban League has 13 teams now.
Okay.
So are they going to look to bring somebody in potentially?
Some of the conversation when I said that was people were, I noticed on the thread.
And
I appreciate that. I like
some
that.
people getting a little heated here.
But you should,
like
because it makes sense. Because when I was reading all that, is they're making a point where it's per sport. Per sport, you can I don't want to say complain. Complain's a bad word.
No,
but you can make a solid point because hey, we're really good in football, but then you're really bad in basketball. But what's funny is no one talks about the girls' sports, which I always find funny. Everyone instantly goes to football and basketball.
There were some people upset about Streetsboro because Streetsboro's 9-0, and
they've had a couple.
They've had a great season, guys.
Yeah,
like, why are we going to get upset because the team's having a good year?
But like Tallmadge should really.
They've been in the Suburban League since I was a child.
But could you imagine, like, to really go off subject with the sport, if Tallmadge in baseball? They should just like roll through that.
They should.
So
we should.
Each school is going to have their strengths to each one of those.
Yeah.
But like a school, like they're saying, like Tallmadge being able to come over, they're going to win in that conference more so than they were in the Suburban.
Yeah.
But the Suburban's changed so much.
It has. Green was in it. Wadsworth.
You were in high school, right?
Yeah, I was in high school. I did graduate high school from Green.
Well, yeah, no, but wasn't that, when was that, Mike?
2001 is when I graduated.
Way off. I think they joined it in like 16, right?
Who?
The Federal.
Yeah, I think Green joined the Federal.
See, I was trying to make you feel young.
In 12 or 13, I think. Anyway, let's reel it back in. Let's get back on track.
But with that being said, does that change? Who does that help? I mean, does it help anybody? Or it just, to me, didn't seem like there was a missed opportunity.
I don't know. I like when these things happen. Obviously, this isn't college football where you have an entire division or whatever, the Pac-12 fold, and most of them go to the Big 10 and some go to the Big 12 or whatever it is. I'm not. I
get the comparison.
It happens though, but I think it's good for sports. It's good. I think it's good if
What about schools like Springfield? Like that's just going to be even tougher for a school like that. Like,
no, you see, golf, volleyball, soccer, cross country, guys. It's not just football. Like these are sport. This is an overall sports experience. It's a sports experience. High school there you go. That's a beautiful phrase.
But like, could you imagine if you kind of had like a smaller setting where you had the schools like a Cuyahoga Falls?
What I want to see. What I want to see is these teams that are independent that aren't in a league.
Who?
I want to see them in a league. Massillon.
Boom.
Massillon. Join the federal. No. Join the federal league. Join something. I'm not. Listen, Notre Dame is.
That's
Notre
so
Dame.
Annoying.
Notre Dame is an independent for college football, right? Like I get why you want to be an independent. It gives you flexibility to play whoever you want, however you want. I get it.
Tech schools.
Shout out to the football kickers
that are on the soccer team in Manchester. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I love multi-sport athletes. Let's go.
That's where you go get your kicker.
Exactly. Go to the soccer field and find your kicker or punter.
Guess what? Believe it or not.
Yeah?
I know I don't look like it.
Were you a punter?
I was the punter.
What?
Because our kicker that we got, who is our goalie, Thomas O'Brazen. I'm just gonna shout him out right now. Straight up quit. He straight up quit like 3-4 weeks into the season. And then I had.
If you're watching, don't come at me. Come at Matt. We'll post his email address and his cell phone number.
Go ahead,
post
Thomas.
show.
He did. He left the team out, and I had a punt.
We'll put your cell phone number. Yeah, they can come
shout out to punters. That's those guys.
Anyway, so here's the recap. Lake beats Hoover. 18 to 7.
35 yards?
Facts.
I probably could get a solid.
Still
20.
got it. He can bang a 35-yard punt right now. Okay,
20.
so
3.8 hang time.
prove it. Let's do it.
It's not even close.
Let's do it. Let's see
not
if
even
we
close. I would pull a hamstring. There'd be a black and blue
tear your
mark
groin.
by Monday.
Anyway.
I'm
All right,
fragile.
Lake over Hoover, 18-17. Last second field goal. We talked about that.
Oh, you're still talking about? We already talked about these scores.
Well, we did them in these scores. We're recapping.
We gotta do them again. You want to you just want to be excited?
The recap.
Mike went 4-1, and he wants to replay it.
This will be on film very soon. Somebody says, "Uh-oh,
God.
You're getting called out, brother." Anyway, yeah. So Copley beat Revere. I got that game. Lake over Hoover. I got that game. The one we lost. The only one I lost was Perry Green. Yeah, we had Green.
Mike, you did a great job, bud. I'm really happy for you. 4-1. We're tied up. We're gonna get into pick'ems this week and then figure out how you lose it at the last
right? Minute. Anyway, outstanding stats of the week. This was fun. Senior kicker. Talking about kickers, this is a beautiful segue. Paul Koskovich from North Canton Hoover. He goes 4 for 4 on field goals. 35, 37, 39, and another game-winning 39-yarder to beat Lake. Have yourself a ball game, young man. 4 for 4.
That's a night to remember.
So I've had the pleasure. I've had the pleasure of seeing Hoover play a few times.
Yeah,
they have some kickers. They have
a good soccer team.
They've got a very good long distance kicker. They've got a very good medium range kicker, and then they have a very good short kicker. So they have 3 different people.
What? Really?
Yeah, it's pretty cool at North Canton Hoover how they do it.
Oh man, that'd be kind of tough to be like one of the 3 kickers. And you're like, I hope we don't get a first down here on the 30 because that'll be my chance. But if we get inside the 17, Billy over here is gonna get the shot.
Paul, they even have the guy that handles their kickoffs, and I apologize, I don't know your name. Dude has a massive leg. I've yet to see anybody return a kickoff. He's
probably got a 35-yard punt.
I think he could probably do a little bit better.
Welcome to the club, bud.
Oh my gosh!
Welcome to the club.
Please, anybody that's watching this and has some contacts to some local high schools, let's get a couple punters.
Oh, okay.
Let's get a couple punters. And then let's see how Matt can compare to some of these punters.
Let's do it. These kids, they're athletes. I'm just running my mouth, acting like I was one.
You are running your mouth.
Everybody here knows that. There's not much athleticism on this side of the.
Senior quarterback Chase Badger from Northwest. I feel like we've talked about him quite a bit this year. 23 of 29, 310 yards, 4 touchdowns. He is the first area quarterback to break 2,000 yards passing on the season.
Nice.
Shout out to Chase Badger.
Nice.
How about junior running back? And I pray that I'm pronouncing your name correctly because you deserve this one, sir. Javion McClendon from Glenoak. Sure. Okay, listen to this. Okay. 14 carries for 143 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kick return for 100 yards and another score. Whoa. 3 catches for 56 yards.
Put it all over the field.
And another touchdown.
Bruh. Jeez.
Have yourself a game, sir. Yeah. That's like video game numbers. Well done, Javion McClendon. Glenoak gets their first win, and I can see why this kid. He's a junior, so we're just getting to see next year. I will get to see Glenoak. A little segue, Glenoak and Perry tonight.
Okay.
Live from Bob Cummings Field in Glenoak. I'll get a first-hand look at Mr. McClendon. I believe I've seen him before, but he wasn't the starting tailback, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
So he's obviously a star in the making. So, hey, I went and got we haven't talked about this young man yet, this next one on the list. I got to see him play last year as a sophomore. Was really, really good. Junior running back Joey Madure of Tuslaw, 22 carries, 210 yards. 2 touchdowns, one from 67, the other from 23.
Ooh, hit a long distance.
Very, very good, shifty running back. Very, very good.
Pretty stout on the straightaway.
And he's a junior, so we'll be talking about him again next year. And I feel like I just put this here just to add salt to the wound of Matt. Senior quarterback Gabe Mansell of Copley, 18 of 22, 229 yards, 3 touchdowns. 160 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns.
I'm super happy.
This young man has 12 touchdowns in 2 games. His last 2 games. 12 touchdowns.
The Copley quarterbacks put out ridiculous numbers. That's been going on for the last
12 touchdowns in 2 games?
Yeah.
Are we playing Madden? What are we doing here?
Was the Owens kid? Remember Day One Owens?
No, he did it too, I think.
He put up some crazy. I'm not saying that, but systematically what's going on out there.
Shout out
it's still impressive. You have to go and do it.
Shout out to the outstanding stats this week. Shout out to these young men.
Absolutely.
Putting it all on the line. Now, this is fun. I look forward to this stuff every week. Our feature athlete of week 10.
All right, let me hear the name.
Sent in anonymously.
Okay.
Really wanted to shout this gentleman out.
Perfect.
Number 8 from the CVCA Royals, Ryan Weehee.
Okay. Let me hear the stat line.
Senior quarterback, running back, wide receiver, defensive back, Mr. Do-It-All. We'll call him that.
Okay.
He lost the starting quarterback job week 1.
Okay.
Was beat out by Charlie Levac in his junior year.
All right.
He didn't sulk.
Okay.
He focused on being the best defensive back he could be. He has also contributed as a running back, a wide receiver this season as a senior. He has multiple touchdowns this season, including a 50-yard touchdown on the 3rd play from scrimmage against Northwest.
Okay.
What?
But it doesn't stop there.
Bro.
He is an outstanding catcher on the CVCA Royals baseball team.
Great kid.
He has committed to Division II Hillsdale College to play baseball.
Oh, good for him.
Here's where I want to, if I could stand and give this gentleman a standing ovation, I totally would.
Do it.
4.4 GPA.
I thought it stopped at 4.
If you take advanced senior placement classes, AP classes, you can earn. How about a 31 on his ACTs?
Thought you can only get a 21.
No, I think a 32 is it a 32 or a 36?
That's incredible.
A perfect
4.4?
Yeah. He's been on the high honor roll at CVCA 6 times. He's in the National Honor Society. Shout out to you, Ryan.
This kid is
listen,
on point.
26 carries, 250 yards rushing. That's 9.6 yards per carry. 3 touchdowns. He has 4 catches for 64 yards. That's only because CVCA runs the ball. Do I remind you? 2 weeks ago, they rushed for 502 yards in a game.
Katie says 36 is a perfect score.
So he missed a perfect score by 5 points.
That's nuts.
Ryan Weehee, ladies and gentlemen, number 8.
Here's what I take out of all that.
Yeah.
I like the point about once he didn't get the starting job, he, like you said,
he didn't quit.
He didn't quit. And I think that's exactly whoever did this is the reason to shot that, how do you say that? Shoot this kid out?
Shot him out. Shot him out.
Am I saying that wrong?
We're not shooting anyone. We'll shout
you
them
get
out.
What I'm saying. But giving him credit is, kudos to him. The ability to he's a selfless kid.
Right.
You can see it right there in all those statistics.
39 tackles, 21 solo tackles, and an interception as well. Our feature athlete, ladies and gentlemen, and you see him right here on the screen behind us. Look at that shot. You know who sent us that shot?
The anonymous.
No. This is the photographer that sent us this.
Oh,
for CVCA football, that would be Kristen Nichols Photography. Sent us that photo. That was in the game. It was in the game. What a photo! So shout out to the CVCA photographer there.
Absolutely.
Somebody shouts Baker, number 25 of the Manchester Panthers.
Fill it out.
Fill out the form, folks. That's the why it's there.
Fill it out.
Come on, Christian.
What are you doing? Go on
Christian. Is it Christian or is it Christian?
Christian Michael.
Okay. Fill out the form. Go to the group page.
We know.
Go to the group page.
He didn't get a 4.4.
Oh, no. Shots fired. No.
I did if you divide it in half.
Whoa!
You got a 1.0 for 4 years.
I don't know. What? That is a rough sophomore. You're not gonna lie.
I'll tell you what.
What's going on in that sophomore slump?
I graduated with a 3.6, and I thought that was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
I think,
a 4.4. Shout out to that young man. Just fantastic. Man. Fantastic. Hey, guess what? It is that time, ladies and gentlemen. It is put up or shut up week 10.
Yep.
It is time for the week 10 pick'ems. Before we go to this list, can we take a minute and recognize the 7 area football teams that look to finish the season 10-0? There are 7 of them that are 9-0.
Yep.
Let's take a second, give them a shout out. I did this in alphabetical order. This was fun.
Did you?
Aurora.
Okay.
Highland. Manchester. Streetsboro. Wadsworth. Walsh. West Branch. 9-0. All of you, fantastic. Now, here's the problem with that.
Which ones all go?
Which ones go 10-0? We'll tell you next week. Mario coins all around. You are absolutely right. That's the thing. To go, if you're a senior and to go undefeated your senior year, that means something.
Yeah.
I talked to Coach Mike Gibbons from Highland just last night, and the fact that he wants nothing more than his team to go 10-0 for his senior class. The guys that have done it for 4 years and have put in the blood, sweat, tears, all of it. And I'm sure every coach is that same way. We'll talk about our coaches here in a little bit.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, aren't we going to talk about? Oh, we're not talking about it now.
We'll get to our game of the week here in just a second. So first up on the undefeated list, the 9-0 Manchester Panthers travel to Wyoga Lake to take on the CVCA Royals, who are 7-2. Can the Panthers go 10-0? Matt, the fans take
Manchester.
Matt is taking
Manchester.
Matt's taking Manchester.
Yes.
I'm taking the CVCA Royals.
All right, there's our difference.
Here's why. Do you want to know why?
Nope.
Okay, that's fine. We'll talk about it next week.
Nope. No one cares.
Playoff seeding on the line in this next one.
Why do you think that?
Well, Manchester went 9-0, and there were two common opponents that Manchester had and that CVCA had.
Yes.
Manchester needed overtime in order to beat those two teams. CVCA did not.
Okay.
So I just think that CVCA is going to be probably the hardest team that Manchester plays this year.
Okay.
Do I want Manchester to go 10-0? Yes. For pick'ems, I'm taking CVCA.
Okay.
But if they go 10-0, I will give you your roses and say you've earned it, you deserve it. I'm simply doing this to get the win over Matt. I'm taking CVCA.
Take who you like.
I think CVCA. I think it's CVCA. Just their rushing attack is
so aggressive about this pick'em thing.
Because you just talked about how you're the defending champ. We got to knock you off that pedestal.
You're allowed to say that when you are.
Yeah. 6-3 Hoover travels to 6-3 Jackson, a Federal League showdown.
Yes.
The fans took Jackson. I agree with the fans. I will take Jackson.
I'm going to roll with that too.
Table of 3, the Jackson Polar Bears. Listen, Hoover's had a fantastic season. They lost their starting quarterback. Their backup quarterback has done a phenomenal job. They feature Federal League leading rusher, A.J. Dolph, who is over 1,000 yards on the season. Hoover can run the football. They do a power stacked eye offense, and it can be devastating. They also have a phenomenal kicker. We shouted him out a little bit ago.
Jackson coming off that win.
Lucas Eckerman, Nolan Calando, and others. Christian Satterfield, their running back. Yeah, I'm gonna take Jackson.
Yeah.
Now here's the 121st meeting all time. 7-2 Dover, 7-2 New Philadelphia. This is a rivalry that started back in 1896. Dover leads the all-time series 59, 52, and 5. Dover won last year 20-13.
Dover is a solid team. We've seen them since week 1.
Crimson Tornadoes.
Mm-hmm.
New Philadelphia Quakers.
The fans are taking New Philly.
Okay. You're going to take New Philly, and I'm going to take the Dover Crimson Tornadoes.
Oh, man. Gosh, what happens if we just split that? Then it comes down to an even Stevens.
We'll see. Well, no, we've now separated on 2 games. So
that's what I'm saying.
Split,
like, say you win one, I win one.
All right. 8-1 Ridgewood travels to 8-1 Garaway down in Sugar Creek. Garaway won this game last year 35-13. Both teams have lost to powerhouse Indian Valley. That's their both one loss for each team.
Okay.
I will take Garaway. I like Garaway in this one.
All of us are taking Garaway.
Table of 3.
Fans are taking Garaway as well.
We have some honorable mentions, folks. If you realize that we haven't discussed a certain game, calm down. We'll get to it. The Battle of 619, Lake and Green. Green travels to Lake.
I'm going to take...
It's the bowl. It's the fish bowl.
I'm going to take Green because I said that Green would go.
I think Green rebounds nicely after a loss last week to Perry.
Down there to the...
Hoban travels to St. Ed's. Big game here.
Hoban.
Hoban.
I would take Hoban.
I'm going to go with Hoban.
St. Ed's has been a little
game,
different this year.
Yeah.
Not to say that they're bad by any
Lake,
means, just they've just a little different.
Lake for me. Coach D, huh?
Yeah, he's a
Coach DeGeorge. We love Coach DeGeorge.
That's a
listen.
It's a Hoban connection thing.
Oh, well, he's going to take Hoban as well.
There
anyway,
it is. There it is. Nice
he spells it out.
Because remember
his education level.
Yeah, he was
one
of the cheerleaders that created this cheer. So
male cheerleader. That's
every
right.
time that I've been in a game since I was, in high school and even now,
shots fired.
Every time
there
I
we go.
hear it,
And then, folks, obviously tomorrow, 2 p.m., the game, the longest running rivalry.
The game is Saturday.
The game is Saturday. That's what I said tomorrow.
No, like
2
the
p.m.
game of just Saturday.
Yes,
like
the game of
the game of
well,
the week.
Hoban and St. Ed's is on Saturday as well.
I would say that.
McKinley and Massillon, folks. It's the game. And I know I got some messages this week. We didn't highlight Coach Moore, Coach Hall. We didn't talk about this game. And I feel like we need to defend ourselves here a little bit.
Okay.
We didn't take this game because it's on Saturday. We picked a game that happened on Friday because there's a game tonight that we felt was a little bit better than what the McKinley-Massillon game could be. Not saying that it's not going to be a great game. We just chose one that was a little bit better, in my opinion.
Yeah. So, basically,
I've interviewed Coach Moore a bunch this year.
We'll nutshell that.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a game?
I think it's going to be better than it was last year.
What was the score last year?
A lot to a little.
Okay.
Massillon won that game, and then I think it's not even people don't even remember the score of the game. It was what happened at the end of the game when they were supposed to be shaking hands, and then a ruckus, whatever you want to call it, broke out, and that's
McKinley's going to show up because emotions, history, and all that. And that really shows itself in the first quarter.
Right. Listen,
but the problem is
kerfuffle. We'll call it that as well.
That's a great word.
That is.
It's another word.
But
at the end of the day,
will take. So if we're going to pick this game, I'll take Massillon.
Wow. Okay.
Not saying that it's not going to be a game. McKinley is. They've got a great quarterback, a great running back. I'm going to go with 35-21. Massillon over McKinley, 35-21. That's my prediction. You?
It's Massillon. It's not. Unfortunately, I don't think it's a game.
Huh?
I don't think it's quite much of a game.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Well, Massillon's played so many teams that are out
and
of
Massillon's
state
really good.
All of a sudden, when they do play the teams in state, the emotions are going to run. Hopefully, that both coaches have.
What's this say right here? What happened last week to McKinley? Jackson beat McKinley, folks.
There you go.
McKinley's going to be looking to come out and make a statement. I just don't think they have enough power.
So mess. I just think by the middle of the second quarter, it's going to be kind of heading that direction.
It'll be fun. It'll be on Q92. I'll shout them out. 2 p.m.
I'm good with it. Nordonia or Aurora and.
No, you're giving it away. I love it. Our game of the week: Highland and Aurora.
I would 100%.
So here we go.
This is a great game. 2 9-0s.
Listen, our coaches' interviews. I love these.
Well, let me hear the stat line because I know you're going to rip through.
Yeah, so we'll talk about our coaches' interviews here in a little bit. 9-0 Highland are heading into tonight's contest following a 56-0 win over Cuyahoga Falls.
Look how cool those graphics are there.
I know, right? Shout out to Diablo. Well done.
Jesus.
He's a phenomenal man. He does great things. Hornets are skilled on both sides of the ball. On offense, it starts with Casey Miser. He has 1,346 yards rushing on 140 carries, and he has an eye-popping 26 touchdowns. That's on the ground.
Jesus.
He averages 9.6 yards a game. Dylan Borla is the signal caller. 71 of 94, 1,484 yards, 20 touchdowns, and he's only thrown one pick on the season. The receivers are Evan Faust, Lucas Girding, and Casey Miser. The three have tallied 19 catches, 15 catches, and 11 catches, respectively. 385 yards, 326 yards, and 322 yards, respectively. 3 touchdowns for Faust, 3 touchdowns for Girding, 5 touchdowns for Miser. Their defense has only given up 65 points all season, 7.2 for those keeping track at home. They're led by Evan Faust, 51 tackles, 3 sacks. The defense has 24 sacks, 45 tackles for loss, 5 interceptions, 10 fumble recoveries, and an absurd number of tackles for loss. 45 is a lot, folks, in a season.
Yeah.
That's incredible. This game is going to be one for the ages.
A lot for a career.
So the Aurora Green Men, they are led by 24-year head coach Bob Mahalik. Let's
Dude,
24 years at the helm. 24 years, guys. He's 208-70 in his career.
You wouldn't even know that.
No, based on the interview, he looked like he was mid 50s.
I was like, this guy's been doing it 2 years.
He was phenomenal. We'll talk to Matt.
His knowledge was great.
Yeah, we'll talk about it here in a second.
Yeah.
This is a juggernaut of a football team, guys. Overall, they have rushed for almost 2,000 yards on the ground. They average 242 yards on per game. They've passed for about 1,100 yards, which is an average of 140. The ground attack is led by senior tailback Lucas Manderbach. 67 carries, 725 yards, and 15 touchdowns. Junior tailback Xavier Board, 68 carries for 556 and 5 touchdowns. He's the backup. Their starters don't play a full game at Aurora. They have not. No. Because that's how good they are. Mm-hmm. This team has scored 35 touchdowns on the ground and averages a robust 7.5 yards per carry. Lucas is averaging a whopping 10.2 yards per carry. That's insane. That's a first down per carry.
These team stat lines are so similar.
Senior quarterback Ryan Dwyer he's 60 of 86, 1,500 yards, 13 touchdowns. Wide receivers are led by senior Ben Lukasik and Zach Panetti. Ben has 18 catches for 204 yards, 3 touchdowns. Zach has 13 catches, 278 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Defense is led by senior inside linebacker Tommy Tartabini and Lucas Manderbach. Tarabini, 56 tackles, 3 sacks, 8 tackles for loss. Manderbach, 7 sacks in 10 games. 7 sacks, or 9 games.
What?
7 sacks, 9 games. 8 tackles for loss, 33 total tackles. The Green Men have 23 sacks, 41 quarterback pressures, 48 tackles for loss, 4 interceptions, 7 fumble recoveries, and 23 passes defended. This team is stacked, and this may be the game of the year, folks. Aurora won this game last year 9-7.
It's like an LSU Bama score.
I am exhausted after reading all of those stats.
Don't they sound very...
Guys, I couldn't tell you which team's better based on paper. No. The stat lines are absolutely insane. I don't have a pick for this game. I don't. And I've gone back and forth all week when I type these up, and I've every day I have changed.
Well, the fans picked Highland.
Fans picked Highland.
And it's down to us.
It's down to us.
How did you like talking with Coach?
Coach Gibbons. We've talked to him before.
This is twice.
This second time. He's our first repeat offender.
Yes.
First repeat offender for the season.
Had to be.
Coach Mike Gibbons, fantastic. Great guy. When we talked to him at home last night, was fantastic. His kids are in the background. Like, he's a family guy. But
I like that.
The passionate coach that he is. Like, I wanted to put a helmet on.
Every time you talk to these guys, it's been like that for 10 weeks.
Football, because he's very passionate about his job. He's passionate. He cares about not only these kids, but his staff and the community and what they're doing. And like, it's phenomenal. Coach Gibbons, hats off to you.
Good programs like that. They started at the youth level. Yeah. And they work it all the way through.
He's been doing this for a while.
Is a program that has definitely, it starts at a very young age. And the exact, these are two very, very similar mirrored teams. Mm-hmm. I mean, even as their logos were up behind us, they looked, even the color scheme.
Yeah, the color scheme
it's spot on. They're so identical that it comes down to. Don't you just start looking at like who's the home team?
It is Aurora tonight. Aurora. How was Coach Bob though? Coach Bob Mahalik, 24 years. Wouldn't have known. Great interview, by the way. Thanks. I loved listening to it.
I know.
I love your questions, man.
I know
you go at them a little bit differently than I do.
Yeah, you're a statistic guy.
I come at them with the stats, and I want to get inside their head. And you're like,
"What's up?
Hey, let's just shoot the breeze."
Yeah, what are we talking about?
It was great though.
Yeah,
he was very relaxed. You guys seemed to hit it off, and like he was. You could tell that he is very passionate about what he does as well.
I've got a face only a mother would love, and the guy.
You got a
found
face for
reason to
radio,
talk to
that's
me,
for sure.
So,
There it
it's
is.
always nice to be able to chat it up with the coaches. But he says a lot of the same things that we hear across the board. That's one thing I'm taking away from 10 weeks of talking with coaches is the good ones are all saying very similar things, but they're putting their little twist on it. And obviously, for a guy who's been there for 24 years, he's seen the ups and downs. And I think the thing to take away from that is, could you imagine? It's one thing if you're a teacher and you had to teach for 24 years, because kids change so much. So your style has to continuously change. And that's when you give a lot of credit to these coaches that are in these 10 years of coaching, especially, like I said, 24. Wow. That's really the point where you're able to connect and bring that out of the community.
Yeah.
He talked a lot about that. He mentioned a few of the players, a lot of the same guys you did with statistically. He knows it's going to be a dogfight. I think that's
I don't
what they
think
want.
there's a lot of points scored in this game.
It's been circled. It's been circled for a few weeks, and that's absolutely why we put this up, because 2-9-0, you're not finding that. You're not finding 9-0 against 9-0 at this point. But I think some of that you look at the conference, the league, so it kind of ties into like what's going on.
This is for the league title tonight.
So this could be the two teams for the foreseeable future that are going to be running it. So who are you picking?
The fans take Highland, huh? I'm gonna go with Highland. And it's not by a wide margin.
It's at Aurora.
It's at Aurora, and that's the thing. I mean, I want to give a shout out again to Bob Mahalik. 24 years as head coach is an incredible advantage to have, because he's done it. You wanted to go Highland, and now you're changing your mind.
I did. I'm gonna second guess myself on air.
I don't think you can pick a bad team here.
You can't.
This is going to be a really,
I just know
really
that we're already
game.
Split on the other two, and this one will be definitive. So this autumn, either I'm going to lose by 3, or I could only lose by 1, or you could lose by 1.
I could.
You could.
Or I could lose by 3.
I'll make it fun. I'll take Aurora.
Taking Aurora. There it is.
I'll take the coach that I had. I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna roll with
let
coach.
me say this. I got to give you a shout out once again for these games of the week.
It's just such a nice person. You're always giving away
games
roses.
of the week. You putting the posts up every week, allowing the fans to vote, giving them the opportunity to kind of get inside what we do a little bit.
Yeah, I know.
And they vote, and it's fun, and it's fun to watch when they add things. And like No One Out Pizzas the Hut was probably my favorite
of the year
addition. That was great.
Yeah. Somebody wrote that in there,
but
nice.
it is this has been so much fun for 10 weeks, and it's not over yet, folks. It's not. Next week's going to look a little different because it's playoff football time.
Yes, so we're definitely going to be talking playoffs. What that's going to look like, we don't know. We don't know what that's going to quite look like.
Playoffs.
There it is.
Yeah, but it'll definitely be talking a lot about who's in,
who's out.
Maybe as we're going through them, we're shooting. The thought of who we think might take that region.
Yeah, we did it last year. It was a lot of fun.
It's a long,
failed miserably.
Yeah, you did. You were a rough go.
I went with my heart instead of my gut, and I've learned my lesson. But it's so much fun to look at the regions and look at the teams, and
so we'll still do pick'ems. Maybe
I'm going to let you address that last comment.
It's gone. It has
been removed.
It's been removed. He likes to talk about it.
He does,
but we're not talking
about it.
It was 10 weeks ago.
10 weeks ago. But it has been an absolute blast. Don't forget, tonight, folks, you'll see the post go up. Let us know what game you're at. Throw up some photos. Throw up some scores. When we ask for scores, it helps us. I live vicariously through you guys when I read these scores, because I'm in a booth watching a separate game and trying to bounce in 18 different ways is fun.
It's a good night for it, man.
It's a beautiful night for football tonight. I will be at Bob Cummings Field again. Perry versus Glenoak. Matt is going to be.
I'm going to go up to Walsh. I got these new chairs that are heated. It's got this cushion. Yeah, throw a little battery in it. So me and the miss is going to go up there, watch Walsh go undefeated for the first time this decade.
And they're playing
Padua.
Yep.
So
good. It'll be a good game, I think.
Nah.
Matt's like, no. Walsh is a runaway freight train.
Walsh is going to be.
They're going to be a fun team.
They're going to be fun to watch.
Matt got him some old man chairs. Yes, he did. But guess what?
They're not old man chairs.
Hold on.
They're a cushion.
This is what
the cushion's every bit of that thick.
Can I tell you how you defeat this real quick? I'm going to be
sit my
warm.
toasty buns
I'm
on
going
the
to be
lawn chair.
warm and you're not.
Yeah,
I'm going to be warm and you're not.
I'm cold. I got to have the stocking hat on. And there's hair. When you have no hair, you lose heat.
Yeah, you do. You get colder easier.
So
once again, folks,
like
week 10, seeing us out tonight. Head coach of the Massillon Tigers, Nate Moore. I talked to him after their win last week over Harding, and senior tailback Jameer Gamble. This kid, phenomenal to watch. He is very elusive.
Be interesting to give the first-hand take next week. That
It'll be
like you said, especially him being the not featured athlete, but one of the spotlight athletes.
We've talked about Jameer a few times. So defensively, yeah, that's going to be a good game. Massillon McKinley. That's 2:00 on Saturday. Don't come at me tonight. It's tomorrow, 2:00. Same with Hoban St. Ed's.
All right, we're gonna find out who's winning it all next week.
Who's the champion going into the playoffs?
Go Aurora.
Thanks to everyone tuning in. It is the 330 to go high school football show, week number 10. Be kind. You are enough. We'll see you next week. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike Voorhees with Q92 Sports here with our Paramount Elite player of the game, senior running back, Jameer Gamble. Jameer, big game tonight. 3 rushing touchdowns, 1 in the air. What a game.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
I mean, I feel great. I feel like we definitely executed up front, which caused us to get up early.
Your offensive line was able to create some big gains for you. You only carried the ball 10 times, but you were very efficient. How much do you love your offensive line right now?
I owe them a steak dinner for sure. I love it so much.
Steak dinner, that's fantastic. What can you say? Big game, Harding. It's always a rivalry, but to get the win tonight, how does that feel for you guys heading into next week?
It feels good knowing that we are coming off of a win. So next week we got to dial back in, lock back in practice, and get prepared for McKinley next week.
So when you hear you've scored 9 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks, what does that do for you?
It's definitely humble for sure. Like, I can't get a big head. I just got to play the next week and do what I do.
Well, we appreciate your efforts. Thank you so much. Good luck next week. Go enjoy this win for your team. It's Jameer Gamble, senior running back for the Massillon Tigers. Big winner tonight, 45-14 over Harding. Go enjoy this win. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike Voorhees with Q92 Sports here with Massillon Tiger head football coach Nate Moore. Coach, big win tonight, 45-14. What did you like about your team's effort tonight?
I thought we played with great effort tonight. Weren't perfect all night, but played with great effort, made a lot of really good plays, and proud of the guys.
Coach, your defense did a phenomenal job with Chaz Coleman. Shout out. They were able to get pressure all night long. Is that something you guys practice this week?
Yeah, I mean, that's get pressure at quarterbacks is pretty much a part of the game plan every week.
Jameer Gamble, 9 touchdowns in 2 weeks. He is absolutely dynamic when he touches the ball. You and I talked pregame about his speed. But I got to say his patience tonight, I think, really helped set him up, especially on those long touchdown runs. Shout out to that offensive line. With your offensive game plan, was it run first tonight, or did that just kind of happen with the big plays?
I mean, we're always as such like take what the defense gives you, and they're giving us a lot in the passing game. We weren't able to complete some of those balls early, but as they had started tightening things up and whatnot, and started having to thin the box out a little bit, then the running game became more of a factor. And, Jameer Thomas Jameer Gamble and our offensive line executed what we needed to do.
Coach, what can you say about the leadership of this team? Obviously, through 9 weeks, you guys have done a phenomenal job, just 2 losses. Now you get to set your focus on week 10, the big game. What can you say about this team?
Yeah, I think we've grown a lot. We've grown a lot over the first 9 weeks, and I like where we're at right now.
Once again, it is Coach Nate Moore of the Massillon Tigers. Coach, we want to thank you for your time. Great game tonight. Go enjoy this win. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.